Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Brian's Life. So today I want to share with you some side hustles, but the difference here on these ones, I'm going to share with you ones that I've actually done personally myself, go into details on some of them, tell you how I've made, and every one of these I'm going to tell you right now I've made a profit on and that they actually do work, okay? So not just the illusion, okay? So these are some pretty decent side hustles, I think, anyway. Now, the first few of them are going to be some of the ones I did a long time ago, so they may not work quite as well. But, and then I'm going to show you at the end of the video, here near the end of the video, I'm going to go into some of the ones that I think are going to be really helpful and the steps I would take to do them and make them very successful for yourself as well. So let's get right into it. Now, one of the very first ones I've done, I was actually 18. That was a long time ago, so I'm old now. But I ended up buying an arcade business. I was fortunate enough, I dropped off my VCR, so I'll give you an idea how old I am, for repairs. And there was a gentleman in there that had an arcade business, a couple pool tables, jukeboxes, and video games. Ended up buying that, and that was, so I would still say to this day, vending machines, they're a great passive income. I'm not too sure how the arcade would work now and stuff, because it's not like it used to be in the old days. It would be all over the place. But in those days, what it was 50-50. So I would supply the machine, they had the location, I don't worry about nothing else. I would just split the coin 50-50. It was a very good business, it really was. The other one I did a little few years later is I tried some online stuff. In fact, I did an online dating service kind of thing. I would go around and subscribe to different newspapers. The buy and sell in particular was international. And I would ask for any ladies that wanted to join a dating site, get their information, put that together and make a mailing list here and stuff like that. That one actually was successful too, but I got a little concerned about the laws, international kind of stuff, so I actually shut it down real quick because I'll be honest, I just thought I'd try it. I got a little overwhelmed at that time with how it was working, so I thought, okay, I didn't want to do it. But anyway, that one did work. Now, the ones getting back now a little bit more into in this era, I want to share with you one of the things that I had as a hobby. Now I make my own molds. So these are all made out of cement, and there's a lot of good detail. And these are all, so I'd make my own molds, and I like gargoyles, so I did most of mine out of gargoyles. And I'm going to stay into this subject a little bit. The problem with this particular business, it is seasonal for me. I'm in Canada, and in the summertime, fantastic, like literally fantastic. It really is very, very, I mean, I made big gargoyles. You know, this one here in particular is super popular. It kind of reminds me of that little Lord of the Rings guy or whatever. But anyway, this here, for example, $20, okay? It was $20 to $25 even, very easy sale. And this is cement. It's going to cost you less than about $1 worth of cement to actually make. Again, I make my own molds. I'll touch on that in just a minute. But it's a very good business. It really is. I can't do them as much anymore just because of the weight and all this kind of stuff. It's hard on my back to do that. But the one side hustle I'm going to tell you right now is actually making the molds. Okay, that would be a good business. The silicone part is very easy. I can do more detail in different video and all that kind of stuff. I didn't want to play around with the fiberglass backing on it. But if you actually make the molds and sell the molds, and this is not a simple, mine of my gargoyles have spaces in between, and those are very complex molds. They're not that difficult to make, but they'll cost you $600-700. I can make them for about $100. So there's a pretty significant room of profit in there. Again, like this is a lot of detail in here, and this particular mold probably would cost about $150 or so to buy. And again, I can make that for about $20 or so. So that's a really good, it's a very, very good. And the problem with the actual statues themselves is way more seasonal. If you were going to think about something a little bit more full-time, I would consider actually doing the actual molds, okay? Now, the other one is buying and selling. Now this one is one of my favorites, and I didn't realize how much of a side hustle I can be, but I've kind of been doing it all my life. I remember going to my very first auction in my late teens, and I've always find them very interesting. I'd always be able to make some kind of deal. And now with Facebook on Marketplace, and in my area, what I notice, I do a conjunction with Marketplace and also the bid site. There's like for every local town, you usually have a bid site. So I really like playing around with those because it's more, they'll guarantee to pick it up more or less. Buying and selling, I would say, is going to be one of your best ones. It has in my past to make a consistent profit on it. Okay. The other one is and I haven't done this one yet, so just full disclosure, but I'm gonna probably venture into this. I want to create with AI now, help with writing some books. I've always kind of wanted to write some books, and I think now if I can have my ideas and have AI kind of help put it together better, faster in a way, and then you can print them through Amazon. I kind of want to do it just for my own ego at some point in time, because what you're doing is way back before, you would have to do a minimum order, okay? So you can do a book, you can do children's books, you can do puzzles, you can do all sorts of things, you can novels, whatever you want to do, and you can set up a site on Amazon. It'll tell you the cost, whether it's going to be paperback or hard cover. It'll actually tell you the cost of your size. You do all the pages and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, I haven't done this one, but there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to do that setup. I will play around with that one time, and I'll let you know how that worked. So I can't say how that makes profit. But again, I wouldn't mind doing one and then just buy my own book kind of thing, just because I think it'd be kind of cool. But getting back to I think one of the biggest side hustles that you could do is buying and selling. Now, years ago, there was insect jewelry, I remember, okay? And it had real insect, it had scorpions, all those things, and keychains, necklaces, bracelets, all that kind of stuff. And I remember back then, it was I hit it in the middle of the trend, and I already knew that's not going to last forever. It was kind of a trend. And I'm going to give you one piece of advice. Your profit is in the buy, not in the sell, okay? That's how I look at things. That's what's been successful for me. So that particular example of that jewelry, I could have bought in wholesale from the US at $2, almost $3 a piece at that time. It was very easy for me to sell them at $10 a piece. So you think, okay, great, that's not a bad profit, of course. But that did not make me happy. What I meant by that is I researched and went directly to China. Well, I didn't personally go, but I went and got a contact from China. And I ended up getting down to 80 cents a piece. Now I spent $6,000, but my point there is my thinking was, I know this is a trend, and when the trend ends, I want to be able to dump these and still at least break even. And I hung on to a lot of them after I bought $6,000 worth, so I had a lot. I went to trade shows. A couple of trade shows I went to. It's $800-900 in a weekend profit from just the jewelry there. So it's again, this buying and selling can be very lucrative. Now, one of the things that I want to stress as well, I'm more in the phase of trying to figure out the hottest commodity is time, okay? So it's easy to sit there and say, go to trade shows and do all that kind of stuff, but that takes preparation, it takes travel, setup, you're sitting there all day. There's things that, it takes up your time as well. So it's kind of nice to try and put things online, of course, right? So now, having said that, like I said, just back to this jewelry, for example, that 80 cents a piece. So I made a significant profit when I was selling them for $10 a piece, okay? But later on, when the trend started dipping down, I had no problem. I've had, 500 or 600 pieces left over, and so obviously significant profit on everything. It was all great. I wasn't in a hurry to sell them. But at the end of the day, I could flog when I wanted to get rid of my inventory, I could sell them all for $1 a piece. People were loving it because it was still cheaper than the wholesale price that they'd normally get, and I'm still made a profit, okay? And I want to touch on something else here while I'm on that subject with the buying and selling of that part. Don't be afraid to play around with a few ideas. I had selection in there, and I thought, you know what? I'm just curious. I want to try something. I saw these unique little keychains and different little things at the dollar store. And I thought, well, is it wrong? I just bought a few pieces, put them on my tables when I went to these fairs. And just out of curiosity, I kept the same price, $10. And I'm thinking, okay, somebody's going to school me on this. Somebody's going to say, hey, what the heck, whatever. Never happened. And I sold some. It was just that simple. It's amazing. So, another thing is, this is another, I learned something when I was very young. My dad was an electrician, and he had a very expensive drill. We would have to go through the foundations, had drill bits that were over a foot long to run his wires through. And he gave me one of his drills because he was done with everything. And he says, but this one works, everything, but you're going to have to spend about $5, I do believe he said at that time, to put new brushes in it, okay? I rented a little table, I was getting rid of some stuff. I put this thing on there, and right in the beginning of the day, everybody's coming to the tools and looking at that. Tools a big attention attractor. And I was always honest. I says, yeah, I'm only asking $5 for this thing because my dad's, he says it needs brushes, easy fix, blah, 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 blah. People, put it down, put it down, put it down. So about a half an hour before it's time to close up, I said, I'm not selling it. I think I put on $20 or $5 or $30. I put it a way higher number. And they come up and I said, the same thing. I didn't lie to them. I said, yeah, it's a great tool. I put it on low because it still needs brushes. Boom, sold, just like that. So I find it fascinating, okay? I will say when you see all these things, side hustles, there's a lot of things out there. And a lot of these I haven't tried, and I'm sure a lot of them will work. There's Amazon affiliates selling, they say, do this, do that. Some of these I might still try myself. I want to do a video that I've personally done these side hustles. I've done them. I know the potential of them. I know the profits, and I know what they're worth doing. So I want to share that with you because really, I think the cement one's a great one. I actually do believe making the molds themselves would be a fantastic business. It's not just seasonal, it's year round. The tip of it, the prime of it for me, I've always made money on buying and selling. I've done it without even really knowing I'm doing it as a business. I'd go to the auction for something cool. I'd say, oh, this is a great deal. Boom, pick it up. Another thing I would do is I end up going to the point where I'm buying storage lockers, full units, 10, 15, sometimes lockers at once. I got to a point where you start realizing you can look at a bulk area, pick out a few things that are just going to sell like that. And you realize, okay, if this thing's worth $200, it's one item, and you sell yourself, okay, it's worth $200, but if I sell it for $150, I know I'm going to sell this really fast. So I would look at something like that and almost call my sacrificial pawn, if you will. Look at a lot sale, look at a few items that I know I can sell instantly. Can I sell them for at $150? Of course I could then. Try and get my package price, for example, in that example, at $150, okay, for everything. Because I always said, like I said, your profit's in your buy. So now you take that home. First thing you do is you focus on that one item. Get more than 150 if you can, but tell yourself, boom, you get that. You've got your money back right away. Everything else is free. Now you take your time on the stuff that's free, okay? You polish it up a little bit more, do a little bit more cleaning, do a little bit better advertising, do whatever you're going to do, okay? You got your money right back and it's working for you on something else. I truly believe buying and selling is one of the most underrated a lot of times what you can do. Use your marketplace on Facebook, it's free. Most communities that you live in, bigger communities, they'll have an auction site for that. I do like using the combination. So I would advertise, my statues or whatever, and then I'd put some of the ones that I knew that I'd just sell plain or whatever, unpainted and this and that, put them on the bid site. It attracts attention. The thing you want to do as well, always respond to your customers as fast as you can when you're doing a buy and sell. That kind of stuff, that reputation is helpful, so they know that you're reliable. You might want to use up a new Facebook account or whatever. That's up to you personally. The only problem with setting up a new one is I always look when I'm buying, or even people buying from me, I always look at their profile. I don't know why. It's just something I read something in it. Are they actually serious or whatever? So I'm a lot more leery on buying something from somebody that has a brand new Facebook. Okay, especially something that's got more value to it. But buying and selling them, look at where your local auctions are. I used to go and I would buy even the boxes of stuff. I mean, at the end of the auction or beginning, wherever they have them, sometimes they have these, let's face it, junk, a lot of the stuff, okay? And they'll have just like bulk sales. Oh, first person that gives me $5 for all these boxes. Oh, my hand's up right off the bat, because you always find minimum 2 items out of that you're going to get your $5 up back right off the bat, right? And I found I remember one locker, it had these very old antique figurines from Germany, and I was surprised how much they were. Now that did take me about 2 years to sell, but they're small, so I didn't care. I already had my money back. So I would put, they were, some of them were $400 or $500 a statue kind of thing. So you do luck out on these things. So buying and selling really is a good one. There's a lot of things you can buy a little bit. You can start off small. You can probably find something around your house, give it a whirl, give it a try, and just be consistent with reply. Put the description. Don't try. And a very, very, very important thing, don't cheat anybody. It's not worth it. And I don't mean that your intentions are there. I just want to be really clear on something. Don't overestimate your product in the sense of trying, just be realistic, be fair, be decent, and you're going to make a lot better sales in the long run, okay? You try to sneak by something. If you're only selling one item you just want to get rid of, you're never going to sell something again, well, do whatever you're going to do. But I personally believe, first of all, it's bad energy, bad karma, bad vibes. It just, making a good profit, that's nothing bad with. I mean, I sleep totally fine buying something for 5 cents and being able to sell it for $10, okay? Because if that's the value that it's worth, okay, then that's what it's worth. I did the research. It took me many years or months or whatever it took me to find that contact and take the risk, send that money abroad, do all that kind of stuff. So I don't have a guilt problem with whatsoever. Because I'm not I'm not being dishonest, okay? And also it gives you that flexibility anyway. Somebody comes along and says, hey, I want to buy 4 or 5 of them, but give me a deal. Oh, sure, I can give you a deal, no problem, kind of stuff. So, that's not the issue. But I just don't, in the long run, you're never going to be successful if you're cheating your customer from whatever you're explaining on your product, okay? That's just, it doesn't go well in the long run. That's my opinion. And just like I say, be consistent on it. Those are the basic side hustles that I've done. I will be doing this book thing, so I'll be doing an update on that. There's a couple other ones I'll probably try here and there. But I think the buying and selling is a fantastic one. You can, another one that I haven't done yet either, but it would be worth looking into. And I thought about this for my mold making because I do make my own molds. Now, for example, these are super easy molds to make. You don't even need an outer cast for this one. As soon as you go into a bigger one, you need an outer cast. But this is just brushing on silicone and it's timing. It's nothing extravagant for work-wise. But there is a website out there, school, online school or something. I forget exactly because I want to make this video on stuff I literally just did myself. But you can upload your class about teaching something, and anytime somebody uses that or whatever, you get a commission on it, paid or something as well. It's actually sounded pretty interesting. So there's a lot of online things I'm sure you can do and try for your side hustles as well. I think some of the most important ones you want to try to focus on that takes up the least amount of time. Not to say we're all lazy, but again, time is the hardest commodity. You want to have that passive income, something that's making you money while you're not working, kind of thing. So the buying and selling is a good one as well, because once you place the ad, if you got multiple items, it's there. Be descriptive on your ads, okay? I'm talking about dimensions, weight, stuff like that, and add a little personal thing on there. Great for whatever it may be, a little personal note on there. Being descriptive on your ads. I see a lot of people just posting something and then that's it. You don't have to, and also don't be over descriptive, but descriptive on, like I say, the dimensions, the weight, or whatever it may be. Those things are important. And then also replying fast, that's very important as well, because that all gets regulated after a while. People start noticing that you do that and you're more reliable, which turns out to be more trustworthy, and you can build a pretty good business that way. I've known other people that have done a lot of full-time online, and especially now with YouTube and TikTok and everything else, you can actually sell your products on there as well. So I think the buying and selling is the most undervalued looked at something like that. You can do a lot, and it's you look at even garage sales and stuff. You buy that unique stuff. We find what your passions, what you enjoy as well. Because if you enjoy like antique toys or something like that, which I know I would get into, then it's something kind of they'll see that as well, right? So it's anyway. These are little side hustles I thought I'd quickly share with you. If you have any that you guys are working on that seem quite nice, or I've forgotten something, or should have given more information on something, please drop me a line here and shoot me a message. And if you like this and want to follow along, please subscribe, hit the like button. And I'll also add on, so I'm going to the Philippines in a few weeks. I've also take the opportunity to wherever you are, bring something back. I've follow the rules of the customs, etc., etc. Every time I go, I stay for several months. I'm allowed $750, I believe, Canadian in value. So if I'm in the Philippines, I go to certain places that things are very cheap. I bring back some gifts anyway, but there's always little unique things from places you go to that you can probably bring back and sell. I mean, that's not really a side hustle. That's only if you're out traveling already. But that's how I view things. If I'm out and about, I'm always got my eyes open, whatever, thinking, oh, okay, that'd be kind of cool. This could work, or whatever. I was in Cuba many years ago, and they did carvings out of real bone. Oh my goodness, it was fantastic. And it was like a cow's jawbone, and they carved right into it and stuff like that. Just amazing work. And I know down here, just the plain ones without the paintings and the proper carvings, like that, the real detailed carvings, a couple $100. And out there it was $10 a piece. It's like, man, if I could literally fill my suitcase up and pay for my trip. So yeah, it's anyway, you just keep your eyes open for stuff. You'd be surprised the more you're paying attention to stuff and getting online and selling stuff or whatever, and meeting different people and stuff, and going to flea markets and vendors and stuff like that. It's still a very, very lucrative side hustle. I think is a very good one. And I'll keep you updated when I try different ones. The vending machine one, it was very good a long time ago. I'm sure that's a valuable one to look at, because that's one of the ones, once it's set up, you're just running around and doing maintenance and stuff like that, and upkeep on it. And I'm sure that would be quite a profitable one to maintain as a side hustle as well. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Please follow along, and everybody take care and have a great time and be safe and happy. All right.